So today was the first day back for Nigel Wright after the weekend and his fourth day on the stand. He's going to be back again tomorrow. I should start with that. So obviously they're not done as of today, but we got to hear a little bit more about that Deloitte audit. And this was of course the interim report on residency that having Senator Duffy withdrawn from it was part of his lawyer's stipulation as far as paying the money back. And where that got interesting was there was this whole interaction between the Prime Minister's office and Nigel Wright and Ben Perrin and Chris Woodcock and the folks there, and the Senate leadership, including Senator Tkachuk, Senator LeBreton, Carolyn Stewart-Olson, all trying to get that audit, first of all, withdrawn. Well, it turns out, once you commission an external audit, it's very difficult to get that external auditing firm to just release it and to just say, oh, never mind that, and sort of retroactively alter that scope of work. But that's kind of what they were trying to do, and there's much email back and forth that sort of perhaps gives the impression that the Prime Minister's office was attempting to kind of direct an independent auditor, which is, you'll guess, given the word independent, is not something that's generally approved of. Anyway, this was kind of a subplot because obviously it doesn't have to do specifically with the $90,000 payment, which is of course why we're all here, because it's that bribery charge. I do think that Donald Bain, the Duffy's defense attorney, did a pretty good job at kind of boxing Nigel Wright in on some of the things that he did, including what he told the Prime Minister as far as what the sort of end result here was going to be. Specifically, and this is sort of Donald Bain's one of his main points, that the official public line and also what he told the Prime Minister, his boss at the time, was that Duffy had agreed he'd made a mistake in collecting these expenses and that he was going to pay it back. Well, neither of these things was actually true. Duffy was at that point still maintaining that he was probably entirely justified in the claims that he had made. This was the first $30,000. And secondly, that it was never going to be Senator Duffy himself who was paying back the money. At first, it was going to be the Conservative Fund, and then, of course, it turned out to be Nigel Wright himself. So I think by sort of illustrating that Nigel Wright was okay kind of presenting this false scenario, as he likes to call it, to the Prime Minister, his boss, he's definitely trying to sort of chip away at that credibility. And I have to say he's doing a not bad job. Nigel Wright definitely seems a bit more shaken and a bit less happy to be there by the end of today, although it's hardly like it's really a fun place to be. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow because we're going through this chronologically. We're about to get to basically the end as far as Nigel Wright was concerned, which was specifically the story coming out that he was personally responsible for the payment that Duffy made. That, of course, led to the end of his tenure at the Prime Minister's office, and is probably where this cross-examination is going to wind up. So that's what we have to look forward to on Tuesday, and that's basically what happened today.